I'm really pleased to be joined now by one of the most famous names in our sector, one of the true heavyweights, Kier Highways, and their Group Managing Director, Joe Incutti. Joe, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Dominic.
Joe, could you try to sum up at least some of the highlights of the last year for you? What's helped get you and your team through this year, and what have been the positives that you've managed to draw from so much difficulty?
Yeah, I think for me, Dominic, my most profound reflection on 2020 has been the way that companies like Kier have just continued to deliver, despite the strong headwinds that have been presented to us through the course of the year as a consequence of the pandemic. A great example of that is on our Area 4 contract. We started that in October last year. But by Christmas, we faced a major challenge with 7,000 lorries queued from the ports at Dover and Eurotunnel. And we worked with Highways England and our partners in the area to keep people moving. And people were working right the way through Christmas, doing 16 and 18-hour days on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve and Boxing Day. And it really does make you feel enormously proud of the sort of people we've got working in our sector that just help to keep the country moving. I think my proudest moment of 2020, though, would have to be around safety. So at the start of the year, Malcolm Dare from Highways England challenged us to halve our RIDDOR AFR. Now, of course, that was quite concerning at the start of the year because we had this enormous challenge and it was set by a real heavyweight in our clients. And we wanted to respond to that in the best way we could. And it was a source of great pride and satisfaction that by about October of 2020, we had indeed halved our RIDDOR AFR just by putting in a number of actions across the business to help improve safety performance. And the consequence of that was our RIDDOR AFR reduced from 0.6 down to 0.06 down to 0.03. But most importantly, I think sometimes we forget that these statistics mean that people got home from work safe and well as a consequence of that improved performance. And that's what really matters. That's why we do these things. So I think that was the standout moment for me in terms of achievements last year.
That is a fantastic achievement, and the entire sector should be grateful for such progress in that vital area of safety. You've also had a lot of success in the Highways England's contracts, haven't you? You've won some major contracts this year.
Yeah, so we did secure Area 4. I mentioned Area 4 earlier. We've also picked up new work with Transport for London. Another big success with Highways England was getting the two smart motorways up and running and open for traffic ahead of schedule on the M20 and M23. And I think that's evidence that, despite some of the challenges we've all had of working from home and working under the new site operating procedures, bid teams managed to win work successfully and our operations managed to achieve challenging targets.
So there's been a period of change for Kier in recent years. Can you tell us what's your strategy for the future, and what do you think the next few years hold for Kier Highways?
Yeah, listen, Dominic, this is a really exciting time to be a business like Kier operating in construction and infrastructure services. With the government's national infrastructure strategy, there's some really exciting projects coming up. HS2 we're already involved with. Big projects like Lower Thames Crossing, Stonehenge Tunnel. And of course, the government has ambitions to build some 40 hospitals and 50 schools by 2030. Really exciting times ahead for our sector and for Kier. In terms of areas that I'm particularly focused on in the Kier Highways business, there's three I'm going to single out. One is sustainability, the other is social value, and the third is innovation. And just taking each of those in turn. In terms of sustainability, in Kier Highways, we have a target to be net zero carbon by 2030, and that is increasingly becoming important, and rightly so for us all in the sector. in addition, around sustainability, we're looking to embed some of our sustainability principles throughout our supply chain. So we're working very closely with our supply chain sustainability school, to support our supply chain, in particular our SMEs. And we're, of course, working really hard on equality, diversity and inclusion. And we're currently leaders in diversity, and we're working towards becoming masters in diversity. And we see that having a diverse workforce allows us to access talent at a time when resources are going to be at a premium across the sector, as we all try and deliver these ambitious plans for the UK infrastructure. Secondly, on social value, as a business as a whole, Kier Highways has generated over £60 million of social value over the last 2 years. And we can evidence that using our social value calculator, and it's underpinned by individual place-based strategies. So I know for a fact that within that £60 million over the last year, in a new contract that we've secured in Birmingham, we've generated £237,000 of social value in the communities in Birmingham that we work in. And we also have a business which not a lot of people are aware of, but it's a business called Nordis, which exclusively employs people with disabilities. Now, Nordis satisfies most of our sign requirement across the whole of the highways business. So we're really, really proud of how that business has come along and the extent to which it contributes social value. That's a not-for-profit organisation, so it's a social enterprise that operates within Kier Highways. And the third area, Dominic, is innovation. And, at a time when there's such great demands on our limited resources in the sector, it's important that we continue to innovate so that we can deliver on these ambitious plans with the resources we have available. An example of that is the automated cone laying machine which we introduced in highways. This not only enhances productivity, but it takes people out of harm's way, which is a great example of how innovation can make us more efficient and safer at the same time. And we've got things like battery-powered plant that's being operated across our Surrey County Council contract. And again, that's where innovation is supporting some of our other focus areas like sustainability. And using, the drive towards modern methods of construction as well, we can really help to drive forward the National Infrastructure Strategy.
Joe, Kier have won many highways awards over the years and have always been a strong supporter of the event. What's your message to the rest of the sector?
Yeah, thanks, Dominic. I think my message to the sector is that this has been a really difficult and challenging year for all of us across the sector. But at the same time, it's never been more important and more appropriate to celebrate the success that has been born out of people thinking about new ways of doing things and driving change in our sector to improve our sector as a whole. And with the ambitious plans that we talked about earlier, innovation, improvement, change, positive change for the future is going to be vital to our future success as a sector.
Very well said. Well, thank you very much for joining us once again, and best of luck for the year to come.
Great. Thanks, Dominic.